hope everyone is having a really great week. And I know there's always a little bit of a delay, so going to try to wait a second, make sure people can um, hear me, can see the screen, that type of thing, and maybe grab your cup of tea or whatever it is that you're having this evening, and then join in with us. It's a Thursday. I did my previous live on a Monday, but I couldn't make that time this week. So I thought, well, I'll push it back. We'll see how Thursdays go. And so here I am. I will admit I'm not even trying to hide it. And I have something other than tea here. And I thought I could put it in a coffee mug, but I wanted to show you my cup that I have, my glass. So I just got this today from one of my classes down in Moberly. And I don't know if you can see that, but it says Liquid Yoga. Isn't that amazing? And it has Dancer Pose as the Y. And Dancer Pose is one of my favorites if you've taken classes with me. So I had to wash it up and bust it out. And so I do have something stronger, not only because I have this really cute glass, but also because it's the last day of class for me at my day job as an English professor. So today was the last day of classes. So I have to have a little bit of wine to celebrate, right? So we just have finals week next week, and Christmas is right around the corner, right? I'm not sure how that happened. But as you settle in, I thought tonight, as for the yoga chatting, we could talk about one of the things that a lot of times people new to yoga tend to think is that they're only really practicing yoga if they go to a formal class or they follow a whole video on YouTube, and they do a long time, 30, 45, 60 minutes. And that's what counts as a yoga practice. And it is true, if you go to a yoga class, they usually are going to be 60 to even 90 minutes. But that doesn't mean that yoga practice has to be that long to count. And a lot of times you'll hear people talking about doing yoga every day, that they practice daily. And if you subscribe to that idea that that must mean they're doing an hour class every day, then that's a lot, right? And that can feel like, oh my gosh, how do they manage? How do they get that done? And the good news is they're probably not. If they are, that's great, good for them. But I don't ever want someone to think, well, I can't do yoga. I can't commit to making it this big daily thing. I don't have an hour every day. And so I thought we could bust that myth a little bit together. So first of all, it's a myth. You do not have to spend 30, 45, 60 minutes doing yoga to count it as saying, I did some yoga today. So I thought I could give you some ideas on what it might look like in sort of smaller increments, and if you were trying to practice sort of every day. Okay, so mornings. Sometimes people really like to start their morning with yoga. But again, they're not going to set their alarm for 4:30, 5:30. And so you can think about a morning practice being even some gentle stretches in bed before you even get up. I'm a big wallerer. I like to waller in bed a little bit and be grumpy and fight having to get up as if that's going to make it go away. So if you like to kind of just spend a few moments waking up in bed like I do, you can do some gentle stretches in bed. Pull one knee in, pull the other knee in, that type of thing. You also can do something like the sun salutations. I think about this a lot with if you wake up feeling a little bit stiff or you slept funny or just tighter than you usually feel at the end of the day, doing a couple of the top of the sun salutation or full sun salutations can really kind of warm you up a little bit, loosen things up because they're a full body exercise, right? That might be a great way to start your day and takes a couple of minutes, right? At work, there's lots of great ways to fit yoga in at work. And it's probably where we maybe need it the most, right? We sit a lot, maybe. We get a little bit stiff. We get staring at that computer screen for too long on any given time, and we need a little bit of a break. And so you can fit yoga in that way as well, right? So maybe you think about even sitting in your chair. You can do some stretches, right? You can stretch the upper body. You can do some twists, right? You can lean one way and then the other and stretch out the sides. You can stand up, do some maybe uh, wall sun salutations, some stretches, right? Move around. You can circle out the shoulders and you can do little stretches like that. And that is doing some yoga, right? You're taking a break, you're doing some stretches. Ideally, you're finding that breath and you're taking some time, right, for self care, turning inward and listening to what the body needs. That's yoga, right? Additionally, even just spending some time with only that breath. Maybe you just need to close your eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths, right? And feel the shoulders release. How often during the day do our shoulders creep up, right? So maybe we just need to do some breathing and closing those eyes, turning inward, and then we can move forward, right? And recollect ourselves and come back to that work. Additionally, you can do yoga when you get home. Maybe after dinner's done and kids are to bed, and now you have your glass of wine, maybe, right? And you get done listening to this crazy yoga lady doing her Facebook Live, and then you decide, okay, I just need a few minutes. And maybe then you do some sun salutations, right? Or you do any kind of stretches that feel good. When I used to run, I used to make myself run. I hate running. Always have. I made myself do it for years. Hated every single solitary step. But I would tell myself, okay, I'm just going to get out there and run half a mile and see how I feel. And if I want to come home or I want to be done, great. If I want to go further, then I can at that point. But I'm going to at least get out there and do half a mile. And usually, once you actually get yourself ready and out and doing whatever activity is that you know would be good for you to do, you tend to go longer and do more than you thought you would when you started. And I usually found that with yoga. Not always. Occasionally, sometimes I would do that half a mile or that mile, whatever I said I was going to do, and I'm like, that's enough. I'm done. I just can't make myself do anymore. But most times I would end up doing, 3, 4 miles. So I think that can be useful in yoga too, is maybe bring yourself to your mat and say, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes and I'm going to get into my favorite rest pose. Maybe it's child's pose, tabletop, seated, shavasana, whatever feels good that day in that moment. And so I'm just going to spend a couple minutes in this pose. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to find that rest pose and then just focus on that breathing and see what happens. Maybe that's all you do because that's all you needed that day. Other times, maybe all of a sudden you find yourself taking some cat and cow. Maybe you're circling out the torso. Maybe you're pulling one leg in if you're in Shavasana, pulling the other in. Maybe you're finding happy baby. All of a sudden, you're starting to do a few of those gentle stretches. And then before you know it, you've done 5, 10, 15, however long. And It was because you were listening to your body and what your body wanted and needed on that given day. And that's exactly what yoga's purpose is, right? Is to bring you back to center, bring you back home. And whether that's 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 90 minutes, doesn't matter. It's that you're turning inward and you're caring for yourself on that day. So I would love to hear your thoughts, and comment below or message me, email me, tell me what you think of my class and how cute it is, right? Thank you again, friends who gifted it to me. It's going to get a lot of use at my house. And hopefully, I will see you again maybe next week. Have a great weekend and namaste, friends.